How much does it increase the pressure, if that's even possible, going into the weekend?
I think it's what you say. It's not of Liverpool standards to lose 5 out of 6. It's not of Liverpool standards to lose 6 out of 7. So it might increase a little bit, but not so much, because the pressure was already very high for the upcoming week, where we again have to face three very difficult teams. But the good thing maybe is that for the first time now we can do this in 8 days, where all the other times it was 7 days, because in 2 days we play the next game again. So I could have brought them into a situation where they had to go into a week like this. We have a game tonight, only 2 days rest, play the next one, only 2 days rest, play Real Madrid, and then a few days more for Man City. And it's, everybody can have his opinion about it. But with the squad we are having, maybe 15, 16 first team players available, this is the choice I've made.
God, where'd you begin with that? If every game for Liverpool is a must-win, which you can understand that logic, why did you go with the team you went with tonight?
Well, he said that was a choice I made. That was a team I picked. It was the wrong team. Make no mistake. I mean, I said
even before, with Villa, Real Madrid, City.
You picked a team today. No, look, when you looked at them, I see you asked me the question beforehand. I said, well, you've made it really difficult for yourself tonight picking that team. You've not helped the young players in there, because the team and the players in and around them. He made 10 changes from the weekend against Brentford. Like, you can't tell me that he's picked that team today and those subs thinking that will get me a result against the...
More than that, his feet, you know, he's got an elegance about him. He brings people into play. And I think what they've done really well is matched him with what they've got in wide areas, because he is going to come a little bit shorter. And yes, Isak could do that, but he could also go the other way. Voltemada's never going to run away from anyone. But then when you've got that pace in behind him, or one of those midfielders making that run, I think it makes him so dangerous. I mean, he's settled in amazingly well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the obvious comparison, someone that I played with, was Peter Crouch. Peter was very similar to him, because you, as you said, Joe, you think, well, let's keep hitting him direct. But Peter had such a lovely, subtle touch. You know, he could bring the ball in tight. He could do little Cruyff turns. He did a Cruyff turn on Paulina after about 15 games, sent him to the cleaners. And it's just lovely little touches like that. In tight areas, he could dribble. Peter could do very similar, had very similar attributes, because you don't associate someone at 6'7" or whatever he is having such lovely close control and such a soft, deft touch. So it's been a really good signing, because they'd have been panicking in the summer because it was so difficult. It didn't get Ekitike, and obviously then your star player there's a lot of unrest at the club, Isak, and you're thinking, we've got to get this right, and they certainly have. Look, it's still a long way to go, but 6 goals at this point of the season, you'd be probably thinking if we get 2 or 3 just to quieten everything down. But you can see the players like him. He seems like a really lovable, good character, which is something that Eddie Howe was massive on. He doesn't just want good players, he wants good people at his club, and he's been a really good signing.
Well, let's hear from Eddie Howe now with Natalie.
Eddie, well done. A solid team performance. You guys are through to the quarterfinals. How pleased are you with tonight?
Really pleased, because I think when you make the changes that we did, you hope to see a performance that's in line with our identity and our expectations, and I thought we got both today. I thought the pressing early on in the game was outstanding. I thought just the general attitude of the players was very, very good.
Yeah, 8 changes from last match. When you make so many changes, how much do you rely on the patterns and everything you created throughout the years, even when you have new signings as well incorporated to this team?
I think with the way that we work, we like to think that every time, regardless of how many changes we make, every time we put the team on the pitch, that they'll deliver a Newcastle performance in line with our expectations. But it's most important that the attitude is right from minute one, and there's that will to win that you need, and we had. And I thought individually some really good performances. Collectively, I thought we were strong.
There's been a lot of talk about their set pieces, improving, attacking and defending. So how pleasing was it to get that first goal from a corner?
Yeah, something we've worked really hard on lately in our game, and I think we've got the height and the power to cause teams problems. It was great to see a great delivery from, I think it was Sandro, and Fabian's header was top class. And I think he's always had a goal in him. He's always got that creative edge to his game, and it was a great moment for him.
There was a lot of frustration with their players after, apparently because Spence didn't have enough time to return to his position after tidying up his laces. Of course, there's nothing in the rules that says that he should take the time, but can you understand their frustration?
I'm actually not aware of the the moment you're talking about, so I'd need to see it before probably giving sort of a full understanding of it.
Asked him, or, as Arne Slot kind of said, is the pressure at such a level already that it couldn't have gone much further, whatever happened tonight?
No, it gets a lot louder after tonight.
Even
with
the team.
They were well beaten, Mark. Well beaten at home on a run that they're on. I think the team selection actually probably adds more volume and more noise, because for me, when you've been in a team that's really struggled, and we spoke about it before the game, that's when you want your leaders. That's when, again, if it's me in that changing room, I want to play tonight. You know, let me go out. And I know people are going to say, you know, fatigue and the games are adding up, and there are certain games that you need to just get out there and try and get a result. And I don't think he's actually done a good enough job of trying to turn down that noise at times and maybe just stop the rot. You know, Chelsea, get back in the game, just take a point. You end up going to lose that. Manchester United, get back in the game, take a point. It almost feels it is all or nothing every game. And then that just spirals and it rumbles on, and then the pressure gets too big to handle, which clearly, you know, not having any of the boys on the bench was my big worry, not just the starting team.
So last season at this same stage, they went to Brighton and knocked Brighton out. He kind of mixed and matched his starting 11 for that game. Tyler Morton, for example, started at Brighton last season, but his bench was a lot stronger. You know, he was able to bring Nunes on or Salah on.
That's the big thing as well. When you look at, and he might, if they get a couple of great results, maybe Aston Villa and Manchester and Real Madrid, he'll turn around and say that was the right decision. You know, he'll say, well, you know, I got it right. But I felt today, and I listened to Arne Slot, and I loved last year. I couldn't. Honesty's a great thing. Really good to be honest. Come out and talk about how the team's doing. But I think right now, you know, talking about we can't play against a team who play a low block against us. We can't defend against set pieces. That will transmit to the players that you are then giving them a massive out. And I think that doesn't really, for me, is not a great idea right now. You know, if you want to say that to the players, but when you're coming out so publicly and saying these things, even there, talking about every 2 days, you're a successful club. You won the league last year. That's the price on the ticket. Look at Chelsea. They had to go and play up until, I don't know, at the Club World Cup. They've got it really difficult, and they've got a load of injuries. But I think for Arne right now, there's lots of sort of negative chat that's coming out, and I don't want to hear that too much. The fans don't want to hear it. People that have gone to that game, paid a load of money to go and watch that team, and seeing after the 10 changes, that's not ideal either. So I think it's been a really bad day for him, but he's got to quickly get it right, get everybody going. Big characters are going to be needed for the weekend against Aston Villa, who had a brilliant result against Man City. But Joby's spot on. They've got to get going really quickly.
And also a lot of heat is going to be on him. He is the manager, but the players have to step up as well. And what he's done tonight is said, right, I'm going to rest the big hitters, well, pretty much everybody. And now what you then have to go and do as a player is you've got to go and deliver, and you've got to help him out a little bit. He's under pressure.
Don't let me down.
Exactly. And I think that's where you're hoping to get a little bit back from those players that you've left out tonight, you know, in the next 2-3 games, because they definitely need something just to turn that tide.
Liverpool's Carabao Cup campaign ended in humiliation as they suffered a stunning 3-0 defeat to Crystal Palace at Anfield, a result that has sent shockwaves through the fan base and raised major concerns about Arne Slot's leadership. The Reds looked lifeless and disorganized, failing to show the intensity and creativity that once defined them. Palace took full advantage, punishing every mistake with clinical finishing and exposing the cracks in Liverpool's defensive structure. For Arne Slot, this loss feels like more than just an early cup exit, it's a warning sign. His tactical setup and squad rotation are now under intense scrutiny, with supporters beginning to question whether he has the answers to reverse the team's alarming decline. The defeat not only ends Liverpool's domestic cup hopes but also leaves serious doubts about their direction under the Dutchman, who must now find a way to reignite belief and restore the fighting spirit that once made Anfield a fortress.